Hello everybody. My name is Bernard, and I'm here with Cheryl. This is our second outing of our program. It's called From a Whisper to
A scream!
Why do we say a whisper to a scream? It's because too many times we talk amongst each other about issues that are important not only in our families but in our communities and in the world. But we don't say it to the appropriate people like our local officials or state government officials or even the President of the United States. It's now time. It's time for us now to start taking it from a whisper to a scream. We're going to start off tonight with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Can't think of his last name right now. Well, it seems Donald had all the presidents and officials from black colleges from around the country to come in and sit down with him and have a little powwow. And I think that the everybody thought that was such a good thing, and it may be. And one of the things that he said is that black colleges are an historical part of this country and are relevant to this country, and he wants to make sure they remain a part of the history of the United States. And so he offered, because a lot of times funding has not happened to the black colleges and universities around America like they should, he took it upon himself to take that funding from under the Department of Education and place it and align it directly with the White House. So the White House would be handling now and funneling the funding for black colleges and university. So while he's over there and we're all patting each other on the back, his boy Jeff Sessions is somewhere else in Washington, and this is what Jeff Sessions is doing. He's having a meeting with all the attorneys generals of the United States of America, and he is saying to them, look, we have a new position here with the Department of Justice about how we're going to be handling situations. Let me read it to you. What he did is that he said that the Justice Department is going to pull back on federal scrutiny of police departments for civil rights violations against people of color, rather than dictate to local police how they should do their jobs. He also said he suggests that groups like Black Lives Matter are responsible for a lot of unnecessary issues. He's saying that because of groups like that report about the killings of unarmed black people, that it was making life more difficult for local police. Our position is.
Don't make me choke, because
tell me about it. Our
how
position.
is that making your position more difficult? If you didn't do it, you wouldn't have anything to tape.
And right, even under the Obama administration, when there was some kind of accountability for doing it, they were still doing crazy things. Look at what happened in Missouri. Look what happened in New York. And look what happened in Baltimore. They were still doing things. So imagine if the Department of Justice is telling the local police now, hey, you on your own, you run it.
Right. I mean, even with the dash cams. I mean, they have the dash cams. The federal government made them get dash cams for the police. Okay. Well, this happened about a year, because I just found out about it.
Okay.
But in Alabama, a police officer, Eric Parker, slammed a 57-year-old man from India who was visiting his son because his son needed help to raise their 15-month-old daughter.
I heard about
that. So
the
grandfather was coming out to help the family,
all the way from India,
raise the granddaughter. He took a walk. He took a walk, and the police stopped him and asked him where did he live, and he couldn't speak English. And they kept.
He took a he took a walk while wearing brown skin. Let's make that. But
right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Walking while wearing brown skin.
Right.
And he couldn't speak English, and so he kept pointing to that he lived down the street.
Right.
He was trying to get to his son's house.
Right.
And this Eric Parker started slamming him, put him in the hospital.
Right.
And the reason why
Partially paralyzed, right?
Yeah. He's partially paralyzed
Mhm.
now. Now he can't help his son raise his 15-year-old daughter
Right.
because now he's paralyzed.
Right.
And so, well, Eric got fired, but how did he get fired? Well, he hid his car, and he was with a trainee. He was training an officer.
See, there you go. Look at this. Look how it starts. It's
But
from day one.
a third officer came on the scene, and that's what caught him slamming the 57-year-old Indian man.
Okay. Otherwise,
Otherwise,
it would have been hidden, and he would have shown this guy that this is how you do sport and play,
right.
hunting.
This is how you do people that don't belong in America.
Ooh. Wow. Sure, you made me think about something else. I don't have all the facts on it. I don't have the names. You might, but this happened in a little city in Kansas, in the state of Kansas, where the guy saw two people from India again, or somewhere from that part of the world.
Oh,
and
yeah, when he said
get out of my country.
Yeah, get out of my country.
Right.
And he shot two men.
Yeah, he shot.
And I think
one he killed.
One of them was India. I think the other guy was American. He was trying to help.
He was trying to help the guy who was
right.
who was Indian.
Right.
And he got and then I heard then the perpetrator went to another bar. He left that bar, went to another bar, and asked the bartender, "Hey, can you hide me? I just killed two people." He thought he had killed them both. You know what I mean? Looking for refuge from what he did, not like he was sorry for it, but looking for a way to get out of it. But back to our point is that if there is no national overseeing of what's going on, then we have a situation that's like in the heat of the night, so to speak. Like everybody becomes a small town again, and people can and police departments can do what they want to when it comes to especially people of color or just all of its citizens. Right. But unfortunately, go ahead, Cheryl.
But what's really insane is that our president is his rhetoric, his speech, his talk about illegals. And we need our America back.
Right,
and,
exactly. Whatever that is.
We want our America strong, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, see, his rhetoric, and it is really crazy because is it called Reuters News?
Reuters.
Is it
Reuters? Yeah.
I don't know why they got it like that because that's not the way I would spell it. But anyway, they wrote on February 24th. It says about this guy who shouted out, "Get out of my country."
Right.
Okay, this is what they said. Because he said, the family said that they blame this man's attitude and his actions on what the president has been spewing on America.
Right.
And this is what
Reuters.
this is what they said. Just in, White House, speaking about Kansas shooting, says any loss of life is tragic, but absurd to link to president's rhetoric. Well, it's absurd that you don't see that this is how it happens.
I know, and that's why
it gave this man the license to say he's tired of his America being taken over by all these illegals.
Right.
He didn't know whether that man was he didn't know what these men were working. They were American citizens.
Yeah, and the thing too is that this is supposed to be a melting pot. That's what we always say about America, but as it turns,
I think that the people that listen to us need to understand we're not saying that we're like totally against Trump or totally against.
Right.
We're totally for we're for what's right.
Exactly.
And it's not right that we have allowed so many people, undocumented immigrants, to come in and then do things, but that's only a small percentage of them.
Probably less than 1%. I don't know.
If we do our jobs right, there are laws already there in place to stop. If we would do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it, it wouldn't happen.
Well, one situation, Cheryl, is that the so-called illegal immigrants, and some of them are illegal, come here because somebody's paying them to do work.
Yeah,
They're getting
yeah,
paid,
they're getting paid.
and a lot of and the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is that there are some employers who are hiring these people under the table. They're taking out taxes
Mm-hmm.
out of their salaries that these
And
people can't even claim, you know.
plain, right.
And then
And
so
and
that
another thing, see, what I did some research on this because I wanted to be knowledgeable. We're getting better, people. We're getting better.
yeah,
Uh, but only the people who are most affected by the non-document workers are black men, because a lot of these people who hire these illegals, they would rather hire an illegal in America than
cheaper.
to hire a black American.
Yeah, I think they rather hire them. I don't, you know, I'm gonna have to slant that a little bit. They'd rather
Okay.
hire somebody who's cheaper, you
Yeah,
know,
that too.
rather than possibly hire a person of color who wants
Right.
the same salary that a Caucasian is getting. Why should
Hmm.
they do that? Or even not even hire a Caucasian because they can get two, possibly
Right.
two illegal immigrants
But that
for the
but
price
that
of one.
hurts America. But that hurts America too. If you would give me a living wage,
I
I
know.
could.
That's what we're all saying. You're absolutely right. It
Right.
does.
Right.
I agree with you.
And what about these people who own all these businesses because they can get it cheaper in India? They pay these people in India what 10 cents a day,
Or
as
whatever they pay
opposed to
them.
getting American made, which is ridiculous. Why do we have to pay $57 for an American made pillow?
That's going to be on our next one. That's crazy. We gotta. You know, one more thing about Trump, or a couple more things about Trump. Our President Trump, that is, that he's asking for 6,000 new volunteers for the military.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're trying to build up. He's appropriating something like $300 million. They're going to do ads, and the goal is to have 476,000 Army troops by October the 1st of this year.
For
So
what?
we need more troops because of what?
Yeah, because we're at war. Are you anticipating a war?
Yeah, I mean,
What is that?
do you know something that we don't know? And
Right.
also, when you have wars, that's a way to decimate
Make money.
part of your population for population control. I just don't. Obviously something is coming, and and we seem to be going around trying to pick a fight, like we want to get into a war
Yeah.
situation, invasion, or whatever they call it these days. But
Yeah.
that's a
I read something about him getting ready for North Korea or something. I don't know about. You know anything about that?
well,
About what?
North Korea has been kind of flexing anyway, and this guy,
Mhm.
I'll pronounce his name later. He's the picture they paint of him is that he's ruthless. If you're
Right.
part of his cabinet, part of his regime, and you don't follow his orders, you're executed.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just like there was his brother-in-law, a relative of his was over in Malaysia about a week or so, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and
he got
he
killed
got
with some.
killed. And
Yeah.
I heard he executed the people who probably should have made sure that he had proper security, and
Uh-huh.
didn't. I heard they were executed. But that's what they're saying in the news. That
Hmm.
there's so many places where we need to scream. But the thing is, Cheryl, is that we have to start talking about these things, and
Right.
we want those of you who are watching us, put some comments down below. Speak on this. Start talking to each other. Start putting our monies into our own communities.
Oh
It's
yeah, we're gonna talk
time.
about more about that
Yeah,
next
it's
time.
time. And
Yeah.
speaking of time, in the interest of time, because Cheryl, when Cheryl and I start talking, we can go. So Cheryl, I want to go to a new segment that we've added, and it's called "Why Is That?" One of
Hmm.
the stories that we want to talk about is this interracial family, and
Hmm.
where did I say that was, Cheryl? That was in Stanford.
Oakland. Mm-hmm.
Stanford, Connecticut.
San Francisco.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in Stanford, Connecticut, and
Oh, Stanford.
somebody,
That's right.
yeah,
Okay.
somebody painted nigger on the outside of their garage door.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when they came out, they were shocked. And so they're living obviously in a neighborhood where there's white people, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody in that neighborhood wrote it, or somebody knows something about it, but nobody's saying anything. So they
Right.
said, you know what? If y'all want to put nigger on there, we're not going to take it off. We're just gonna let it stay there. Well, in the meantime, the city has come up with some little known law or ordinance about that, and so they are um, penalizing this family by charging them $100 a day, $700 a week,
Mm-hmm.
because they won't paint over it, wash it off. They're letting it stay up. And
Mm-hmm.
so this couple is right now is having to pay $700 a week until they take it off, till they wash it off. And I'm saying, I think they should take a more of a civic view on this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sign of something deeper. Maybe some people might consider it a prank. I don't find that too funny.
Well, I think it's a hate crime,
I think
basically.
it's a hate crime too. That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. But that's
But
just
why should they have to pay for something somebody else did to their property? But like I said, mentioned to you before, that maybe they're taking it from the standpoint of city law. This is the policy. This is what you have to do. So this is your property, so you're responsible for change.
yeah.
For anything damages done, you're responsible for it. But see, if they filed a police report, I hope that the police is actively looking for the perpetrators.
I do too. Now I want to talk about one more thing too. I want to talk about something that's benefiting our neighborhood.
Okay, now that's a good thing.
Right. Cheryl and I are always talking about something else we need to scream about: the
Mhm.
contributions that our community
Oh,
has left in this country. We don't even. Most of us don't even. Um, Cheryl, are you the one who told me? Right, it's a black man who invented the parachute. Yeah, I said, whoa!
you
I never
you
even.
told me that. I didn't know that, but
The,
you
yeah,
told you
and
you
that
told me
not
that.
only that, but I'm going to beam in on one story because there's so many, and we got to
So,
get used to the fact that we've made so many contributions to this, uh, to this, uh, to this country. But I want to talk about Henrietta Lacks.
hmm
Back in the 50s, she
hmm
was one of many people who had cancer,
oh
and
yeah,
yeah, and
oh yeah, you told me about that story.
yeah, and
Go
they went
ahead.
behind the family's back
Uh,
and took some of her cells, put it in a
hmm
petri dish.
hmm
I guess to help study cancer, like they did all the other people who they, under this experimental program,
Right.
and all the other people's cells died.
hmm
Henrietta Lacks cells live to this very day, and they can't figure out why.
hmm
Why are her cells still living? All I'm saying is it's another testament to who
hmm
we are as a people. I know you don't want to believe this, you don't want to think about it. Just think.
But it's
This is a
true.
black woman. Her cells to this day. She's helped in
Yes,
all
yes,
kinds of medical research, including tuberculosis, cancer, and is
yeah.
still using her cells
Herself.
today. Just
Right.
amazing. Oh, the other thing. Here's the other thing. I can't remember which giant um, chemical company it was that took those cells and took over the research of those cells. And when the family found out, well, they found out a long time ago that they were using her cells, and they wanted to get some kind of compensation for him.
hmm
The chemical company said, "Hey, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. This is going to benefit all mankind, and all you're thinking about is yourself." In the meantime, they're making millions,
Millions of dollars off
gazillions,
of it, but they don't want to share it with the
but they don't.
person,
But they don't want to share. But
with the
finally,
family.
there was some kind of reparation. That's
Right.
finally coming to that
Right.
family now.
And
But
they had to take them to court, right? I bet.
of course they did. But here's the thing: if they
They
had
just won't do the right thing unless somebody's watching them. You know what I'm saying?
if that family hadn't taken that from a whisper to a scream, they wouldn't
Mm.
be getting it now. That's what we want all of us to do, is to take it from a whisper to a scream. Let's talk about it. Leave some
Yes.
comments down below, some suggestions. Tell us about what you think about about all this. Let us know some areas that we might want to do research on that we need to scream about. We'll do it. We'll look up. We'll research it and make sure that everybody hears about it, and that we're going to research it to make sure that it's
But you
legitimate.
tell your friends to listen so they can tell their friends so we can have everybody listen.
Exactly. Right. We got to start taking care of our own communities. We have to take responsibility for running our own communities, and when we do, we're going to get a lot more respect among each other and with the rest of the world. People won't be able to come into our communities, bust us over the head, and do all kinds of rude and crazy stuff to us and not be accountable for it. We got to start sticking together. And when I say, and I want that community to begin with us and go to the world community, because we're all in this together, no matter what color you are. But you got to bring something with you. You just can't come up with your hands out saying, give me. We've got a lot to give. And a lot that we've already given has not been noted. You're not going to find it in a history book. I could go on and on. But we got to go.
But I want everybody, what I want to scream about is that there's no such thing as race, your race or my race. There's only one race, and that's the human race. Once we start understanding that, maybe we can get rid of a lot of these people who are saying, I want my America back. Well, your America is great just the way it is. We live in a great country.
Yeah, I agree.
We need a lot of improvements, but we need to do it together as a race of human beings.
And we're not going to get that improvement, folks, unless we take it from a whisper to
a scream.
All right. Good night, Cheryl. This has been real good. All right. Talk to you. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Okay.